Hello and welcome back to Realm of Thrones and our attempts to stop the Red Wedding. I've actually just looked at the amount of days that have passed, and it's maybe not actually even looking very good, to be honest. It's a bit worrying, actually, all things considered. I'm actually just going to tell my forces to charge in here because I'm a bit worried about these guys with their spears. These fellows are indeed forest bandits. I want to try to get a bit aggressive on them at the moment. If I can get a bit aggressive, then maybe we can prevent them from doing significant damage to us, maybe. Oh, yeah, he says as he gets absolutely murdered almost. But yeah, anyway, let's see if we can actually get a couple of kills here. Oh, yeah, I do have a spear. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Let me use my spear. This is obviously going to be a lot better. But the problem is I actually do need to level up my one-handed, but the spear is going to be dramatically better in regards to actually doing any damage. Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, literally, you saw how much riding skill and how much polearms I just got just by killing one enemy. And the amount of damage I can deal with this thing is dramatic in its difference with the other thing. I mean, literally, look at that. 100 damage just from a random attack with the spear, and the short sword is obviously not going to be doing a particularly good job, just because it's a short sword, obviously. Mounted combat with a short sword, not really going to be the greatest thing ever, is it? So that's going to be a bit of a problem. I'm going to just use my shield, just try to tank all of these hits, because otherwise we are going to be in some trouble. And I'm kind of a bit worried that I'm going to get killed, and I certainly don't want to do that because we know that my medicine skill is just awful. So it's going to take me a very, very long time to get back on my feet if I do end up getting myself taken down. Ooh, nice hit. Nice hit. There we go. I actually got my polearm skill to 26 now. Obviously, this is the funny thing. I actually feel like I'm pretty decent at polearms nowadays. I mean, I used to be just terrible, as we might expect, because I was used to warband and everything, and they reworked how spears work generally in Bannerlord, and from my perspective, it feels a lot better. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but it feels a lot easier to use, and these other, these other weapons feel a lot worse. So, for example, if you're using a one-handed, you need to have a slow-ish weapon. A slowish weapon that has a long reach. That's usually going to be the secret to having a good mounted weapon, whether that be, a one-handed or a two-handed or whatever. Generally, I would recommend that. If you're someone that is obviously maybe not that experienced with the game, I'd highly recommend something that just has, obviously, it's pretty clear that a longer reach is going to be basically the one thing that you really, really want. However, if it also has a high speed, I'd probably not recommend that as much as something that has a slow speed. But that's just me. That is my own personal preference. Obviously, you can decide whatever you want to do. Oh, nice hit on the horse right there. That's fine. That's going to dismount him. He's going to be a little bit less deadly now. And there you have it. That's a nice victory for us right there. And I'm actually really surprised that we managed to do this, because I don't know whether you could see from the actual bar at the top, but we are at a disadvantage. We are at a disadvantage in comparison to the opponent. And I'm kind of, I'm actually a bit worried, to be honest. I'm quite worried that we're not going to be able to complete this quest. This is the Escort Merchant Caravan mission that you saw me kind of ponder over in the previous episode. And so I'm quite worried about this now. We just don't have enough troops. I think that is definitely the main concern here. So what I'm going to try to do is, if I can, in between us getting attacked by these raider parties, because obviously there are going to be villagers along the way that we can maybe try to recruit. Who knows? Maybe that's going to help us out. I wouldn't even discount getting some mercenaries at this point, but as you can see, look at this. I literally only passed by one village, and I would have had to leave the caravan completely defenseless at that moment. Okay, I can only hope that there's not going to be another one along the way to White Harbor, and maybe I'm going to be able to recruit from White Harbor itself. Yeah, it seems like I will be able to. Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. Yes, yes. Ooh, that's good. That's really, really good. Okay, so now we can actually sell our prisoners to this guy. I'm actually not entirely sure. Do we want to sell them or do we want to try to recruit them? I think we'll sell them. And what we want to do is we want to try to obviously take a look and see if there's anything here that could be potentially useful. No, it's not looking like the case. So we'll just sell it for 1,000. Gonna probably sell all of this stuff as well, unless no, my friend here does actually need a shield. So let's give him a shield. Considering I did steal his stuff, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, yeah, he otherwise has a rusty knightly arming sword, which is actually not a bad sword at all. But I'm personally very, very happy with my short sword at the moment, mostly because it has a short length. And I know, it's pretty funny for me to say that, considering I have just said the mounted combat with a short weapon is really, really bad. And yes, you would be 100% correct. It is terrible. However, this short sword is going to come in mighty handy later down the line when we actually end up doing that quest to stop the Red Wedding. At least I can hope that we're going to be able to do that. Anyway, I am going to check to see whether we can find some throwing weapons. Okay, so 96 damage. Yes, I'm going to actually purchase one of these. This is basically a straight trade almost. Yep, as you can see, I'm only paying 52, which is pretty good. And, oh, yeah, I can actually sell some of this stuff as well. Here we go. Yeah, there we are. So I'm actually going to get 927 instead, which is actually pretty good. You know, that's not too bad. And there is actually a companion here, but I don't think I'm going to be getting him. He's probably going to be relatively generic. As you can see, he is. He's basically a blank slate. So if you do want to get him, then you can, of course, do that. But from my perspective, I'm probably not going to do that. Now, there is a tournament going on here, but the problem with the tournament, let's just actually have a look. Ned Stark clothes. I'm actually not entirely sure what that is. I mean, obviously we know that it's Ned Stark clothes, of course, but I don't know how effective that actually is or how good it is. And I'm not sure whether... Do you think I can win at 34% HP? You know what? Okay, fine. I will try it just for the sake of entertainment, okay? Because it's going to be quite funny. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be quite funny to see if I can actually achieve victory with that. I'm going to go for more HP with our mount. We're going to be getting combat tips, I think. I personally prefer this, mostly for the secondary benefit right here, +1 to troop tier when recruiting from the same culture. We're mostly going to be recruiting northern units, of course. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And we also have one more focus point to spend. And what do we want to do? That's the question. I'd like to actually level up athletics more, but I don't know whether that's actually going to be somewhat useful. I think it would be really, really good, actually. So I'm going to go for another point in athletics here. And we're going to see, maybe that's going to be somewhat decent. I don't know. I mean, the main reason why I want to level up athletics is because I actually don't know whether we're going to be in a situation where having the ability to run fast is going to be useful. It might be useful, but it might also be just terrible. So I have no idea. But we're going to go in there in just a moment. I'm just going to actually... Okay. Alright, so here we go. We've got Ned Stark clothes available, 20 body armor, 6 to arm armor, 8 to leg armor, and we also have a number of very, very powerful enemies in here. And obviously I am at a very low HP level, so I have to basically play almost perfectly to be able to win here. Kind of worried about... Oh, okay. Apparently not. Apparently I don't need to be worried so much. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so... Let's see. Okay, Northern Archer. This should be pretty easy. He says, yeah, let me just see. Ooh, okay, that was actually very risky, and if I was up against anyone but a Northern Archer, I probably would have died. So let's play a little bit more smartly this time, shall we? Ooh, okay, that was a bit close. Bit too close for my liking. Northern Horseman is available. Alright, let's do this. Whew, okay, there we go. Basically, if you saw what I was trying to do there, I was basically just trying... I mean, obviously, this is an AI, right? So, it's not really... It's not really going to get faked out in the same way that a human might. But... basically, what I was trying to do was trying to kind of lull him into a full sense that I was always going to attack from the same side over and over again. I don't know whether this makes any difference, by the way. I have no idea whether this actually affects how the AI responds or anything like that. So this is just conjecture from my perspective here. But basically, I was just trying to do that and then change direction very, very quickly and try to hit from the other side. And, well, it seems to work, I guess, kind of. I don't know. Anyway, let's actually have a look here. So, as you can see, let's just compare this real fast, because as you saw here, our worn northern armor has 12 additional body armor on top of Ned Stark's clothes. And if we add up the values with the other... other sections of the armor, so the leg armor and the arm armor and so on and so forth, you could see that we actually have an additional 6. An additional 6 armor value. So basically what that means, and what we can take away from this, is that the armor that we're currently wearing is generally considered to be better just because it has a higher value from a raw standpoint, which I think is pretty cool. However, obviously, if you take into account the weight, then obviously that's very different, because the weight is a super, super stark difference. Haha, yes, no pun intended. Anyway, it is indeed a pretty big difference right there, from 14 down to 6. That's a pretty huge difference. So if you're wanting to run really, really fast, and you don't need as much protection, then you might want to consider it. I mean, maybe I'm actually just going to keep these. I don't know. I don't really need the cash right now, so it might make sense for me to actually just keep it and see what happens. So that's probably what I'm actually going to end up doing. I'm going to sell all of this stuff as well, just for the 800 there, and we can now move on. I still wonder whether I should... Oh no, that's way too expensive. Okay, let's actually go this way. I might be a little bit slower than the caravan now, because I was actually thinking that they wouldn't use the ocean here. Okay, I've got to be a bit careful. Okay, raiders, here they come. Right, so they're going to be exactly the same as they were beforehand. It's basically just going to be a bunch of mounted pillagers and ransackers. I've always said multiple times that these parties are the best way that you can level up, and the best way that you can gain strength in Bannerlord. And if you have enough troops, you can easily fight them. But obviously, from me, from my perspective, we're not having a great time here. This is a very weird battlefield, but I'm pleased for a change of scenery, I have to say. But this is going to be extremely strange. All right, let's do this. All right, so yeah. We've got, like, what, palm trees? I mean, they almost look like palm trees or coconuts or something like that. I have no idea, but anyway, yeah, this is going to be interesting. And here come the enemy. Alright, so basically what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to go like so. Let's put them into a shield wall formation, and we're just going to play extremely defensively. But the main problem with playing defensively, most of the time, is that we are going to be sitting ducks. And that's going to be a problem. I have 0 thrown skills, so I need to kill... Oh! So much damage. I love thrown weapons. Have I told you how much I love thrown weapons? Yeah, no, I haven't, actually. Not in this series, but yeah, I love thrown weapons. They are so fun to play with, just purely because, oh, I hate dying. In these situations, I hate dying because I just want to throw my thrown weapons even more. They're so fun to use. They are really, really fun. Oh well, never mind. Okay, I think we're probably gonna be okay. Mostly because my forces have spears, and the enemy has this really small area to fight on, as you can tell. I mean, literally, look at this. It's just a small outcropping of land on this, you know, sandy bank here. And they're gonna have a very hard time of dealing with this, because they don't have as much space to sort of go around in circles, and if they do want to go around in circles, they're going to have to go into the water, and that is inevitably going to slow them down, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to get to where they want to be, which is obviously to create separation from our forces, because they're mostly melee, right? They're all melee, they're all infantry. You know, it's going to be extremely difficult for the opponent to do that kind of maneuver. So, you know, anyway, I'm just going to speed things up, and we're probably going to be fine. Cross fingers. Let's just cross fingers and hope that this is actually going to be okay, because the enemy does have quite a few horse archers, and while they are not necessarily going to be the most powerful adversaries that we've had ever, they are indeed going to be a pain to deal with. Because they're just generally, you know, horse archers. So that's just how it goes. But obviously, due to the changes to horse archery in the last patch or so, you know, they're not as effective as they potentially used to be. But yeah, look at the amount of renown I'm getting right here. 7.1 renown. It's actually kind of insane. And we're getting even more level ups, and now I get some Northern Heroes here. We get some of these guys, more Stark Levies, which is absolutely fantastic. Those Stark Levies actually become really, really good troops as well, because as soon as they level up into Stark Levies, I believe they get spears. And obviously, as you've no doubt seen, whenever a particular troop gets a spear, they become a mortal nemesis for any cavalry troop, which is obviously fantastic for us. So I'm at 1% now, so I'm very much hoping that there isn't actually going to be any other bandits. Because if there are, I'm not going to be able to fight them in a manual battle, and that's probably going to result in some bad things. Okay, so we've got some Vale recruits. I am going to recruit Vale, even though I kind of wanted to stay with only Northmen, but the main issue I'm having right now is whether I'm even going to be able to achieve victory in the next battles. So that's the only reason why I'm doing that. Anyway, we're just going to go to the trade screen here. Just going to sell this stuff. Let's actually see if there's anything here that's somewhat good. This is slightly better than what we were using. Yeah, I'm just going to lock Ned Stark's clothes. It almost feels like we've grave robbed him or something like that now, but yes, it's fine. It's fine. Just don't think about it. All right, so yeah, let me just see here. Nope, we're just going to sell that. 1,800. Look at this. Look at how much we are getting from just such a minuscule activity. It's really not even that. Ah, there we go. Never mind. Okay. It's not even that difficult. And as you can see right there, we were actually able to achieve victory without any problems whatsoever. Funnily enough, I actually thought we were going to have huge issues even doing this, because as you can no doubt tell, well, I was dying pretty easily here, and well, the enemy were all on horses, and usually that means they have an overwhelming advantage, but in this case, apparently not. Alright, so we've entered another tournament just purely because this body armor is fantastic. If we can actually wear this body armor in a close quarter situation, this is going to provide us with so much extra protection. Because the current armor we're using gives us, I believe it is, what is it, 32, I think? 32 body armor. And this, as you can quite clearly tell, gives us so much more, because the other values that we have, the arm armor and the leg armor, for our current set, they give us like 4, I think. It's like 4 value, which is just crazy low. So this is going to be super nice if I can achieve victory here, which is obviously a big if. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to, because the enemy is maybe kind of harsh. I actually don't know, but obviously we're given a spear here, which is actually pretty good for me. As I've said multiple times, I actually feel like I'm not bad at using the spear, he says, as he does 7 damage. But yeah, generally, I feel like I can do quite a lot of damage with this, which is quite surprising in my opinion, because obviously if you saw some of my Warband series, and you saw how it was for me to use a spear in those, you would see exactly what I'm talking about, because I am just terrible. You know, I am just terrible with a spear in that game. I don't know why, but I think it's probably due to the way that it's almost like an instant thrust. You know, it's like an instant thrust in comparison to here, where there's a bit of momentum behind it. I think that makes a big difference. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Anyway, what we're going to try to do here, because these guys are basically infinitely blocking, I will try if I can. Yeah, this is the problem with the AI now. They are going to be very defensive. I'm going to try to get a... yeah, this is going to be an issue, isn't it? This is going to be a super, super bad issue for me right now. I was trying, if I could... Ooh, that was a nice hit. Okay, whew. That was very lucky. But yeah, I was trying to get a couch lance. Because couch lancing is actually really, really effective against... Yep, as you can see. Very effective against the AI because they don't actually even realize that you're couch lancing. And they don't raise their shield. Most of the time. Most of the time. But, you know, they're always going to recognize when you are using your actual attack. You know, as soon as you left click or press your attack in any way, they will block. You know, especially in tournaments, they've been instructed to be a lot more defensive in tournaments. So, you know, that's the reason why they are quite frustrating to fight against in close quarter situations with spears especially, and maybe with some other things, but you know, mostly when you're using a spear and they have a shield, and it's basically the most impossible thing to get beyond their block. As you can tell right here, it's making it very, very tricky for me right now, especially considering this guy literally has no HP. Okay, can I actually do some damage? Yeah, I guess I'll just... There we go. I'll just do things the old-fashioned way. Just try to, I don't know, get around his block somehow. Anyway, I'm working with my friend here. I'm working with my companion who I stole all that gear from. So he's going to be really pleased to help me out here. Okay, I need to kind of help him to defeat one of these enemies really, really fast, because otherwise we're going to have some huge problems in a 2 versus 1. But we're good now, and there we have it. Wonderful. Now, what's actually... that's the reason why I was actually talking about the whole experience gain thing in tournaments, and how that was nerfed dramatically. I just got to 50 athletics, and I'm pretty sure I would have gotten at least to 60, 70 maybe even, in that time. And it just says everything you need to know. You know, it's like, it's pretty sad actually, because I personally feel like a person that enters a tournament should probably gain some training skill from that, no? But we were lucky enough to achieve victory here. Another 3 renown for us, which is obviously not the main reason why we're doing this, but the wonderful armor that we've gained is going to be fantastic. So, that's good. And you know what? I think those generic companions might actually be something rather useful. If I were to get a generic companion, like this guy for example, he might actually be really good for running a caravan. And I'm kind of wondering whether that would be a good idea. Because I'm thinking right now that maybe it would be. But the thing is, if I run a caravan, it runs the risk of running into a bandit party that is really, really powerful. And then I just end up losing 12,000 or however much I'm actually going to spend on the guy. So that's going to be a problem. See, now I'm in a quandary. Now I'm in a quandary. But yeah, you could, as you can see, you could literally sell this armor for 6,200 if you wanted to, which is insanity. Super, super nice piece of armor. Gonna be wearing it though. I do look a little bit out of sorts right here because obviously this is a southern piece of armor rather than northern. But you know, needs must and all that, you know, we will need to use this for the moment. I'm actually going to give him back his armor here finally so that he can actually be looking like he did beforehand. And we're just going to sell what he had on beforehand as well. There we go. Alright, that's absolutely fantastic. So let's actually just see. How much is this guy going to be? He's only going to be 500. Okay, he's only going to be 500. And let's go into our inventory right now. And we're just going to see what we can actually give him. I could give him Ned Stark's clothes. I mean, he kind of needs something, doesn't he? So we'll give him Ned Stark's clothes, and then, well, I don't even know. I can't even really give him anything else, and I don't even have the money to really spare, to be honest. So, let's see. 15,000. Wow, okay, yeah, we're going to need 15,000. I'm used to being an Azerai culture. So, you know, usually when you're an Azerai culture, your caravan cost goes down to 12,500 as far as I remember. So, yeah, that makes a big difference in the viability of caravans. And otherwise, I'm probably going to be going for armor weight here, but the weapon handling is pretty good too. But I'll go for armor weight for right now because I am wearing some really, really heavy armor, and being able to move just that little bit faster, a little bit quicker, be a bit more agile, that's probably going to be a bit more effective for us. I'm kind of wondering whether we want to go for leadership as well, but I don't know. If I do go for leadership, you know what, I'm going to go for leadership. The main reason why I'm doing this is because I want to get Stout Defender, because Stout Defender allows us to have the plus 50% recruitment rate of tier 4 plus prisoners, which in my opinion is absolutely fantastic. We could also maybe get, there we go, Famous Commander. Yes, Famous Commander is also a fantastic perk that is going to provide us with 50% additional renown. So if it does come down to it, we could potentially fight, you know, he who shall not be named, but yes. Anyway, let's actually just go over here. We're just going to try and get some more battles on, and hopefully recruit some more people in the process. Alright, so I've taken another hideout quest, and we are now about to undertake something a little bit risky here. Not the actual going into the hideout, because that's going to be somewhat simple, but what we're going to do afterwards. That is indeed hiring a caravan. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. If I can get around... I'm hoping that I'll get around 5,000 total for this entire action. Because obviously, completing the task is going to get me 3,000, or at least it should. Well, I think so. And then obviously I have a bunch of loot. So I have raw money. So I think I'm probably going to get around 500 to 600 in cash. That's 3,500 approximately. And then I might be able to get some... Wow, that was a nice headshot, but unfortunately he didn't die from that. But yeah, so the point is, if we can do that, that's going to be really, really effective. Whoa, nice. Wow. Next shot. Yes. Thank you. Okay, yeah. So anyway, because here's the thing. Apart from that, we obviously have the raw loot as well. The raw loot is going to be very, very useful for us. Nice hit. Nice hit. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. But yeah, so apart from that, we obviously have the raw loot, and that's probably going to be about 1,000. So all in all, we'll probably get about 4,500 for the completion of this task. And the reason why I'm trying to work this out is because, as you know, a caravan is, you guessed it, you know, we found out just, you know, a couple of minutes ago, 15,000. It's 15,000. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to gain 3,000, which is going to push us just over the 15,000 threshold. It's going to get us, what is it, 15,400, because we currently have 12,400 right now. And so then if we get another 1,000 or, you know, another couple of dinars over that, a couple of gold over that, then we should be pretty good, I guess. I mean, I don't know whether I have enough money to even pay for my wages at that point. That's the main concern that I'm having right now, you see. Because if I don't have enough wages to pay, then, you know, we're going to have some issues. I'm going to have some really big issues. So, not sure how well that's going to work. But this is the exact reason, by the way, why I have this short sword. You see how effective it is at dealing with enemies in close quarter situations? It is absolutely incredible, and certainly a worthwhile reason to have this weapon. It just does so much damage. I mean, that's the funny thing. It doesn't even do a lot of damage, but it does a lot of damage in comparison to a slower weapon, because a slower, longer weapon is never going to deal damage, or at the very least, if it does, you're going to have to be very, very careful with it. I'm not going to actually do a duel with this guy. I'm just going to head in here and... Whoa, we actually lost someone? Are you serious? I can't believe it. Can't believe we lost someone right there. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, I mean, these are robber knights. They are pretty good, you know. They have good gear, at least. They have good gear. That's the main concern there. Anyway, I lost a Stark House Guard, which is not actually that bad, I guess. Anyway, we have some people that we can potentially rescue. Dragonstone Caravan Master, Caravan Guard. We'll take some prisoners here as well. And I'm probably, all intents and purposes, I might become a mercenary for the north. That might be the thing that we want to do. Oh, nice. We've gotten some pauldrons finally. Okay, so that's really, really useful. And we got some common gloves here. Yeah, this stuff is not actually that good right here, but we are just going to take all of this. Going to make sure that we take all of it, of course. And there you go, 3,000 gold, which is exactly what we wanted. So let's actually see whether we're actually going to get exactly what I kind of estimated we would get. As far as I'm aware, the raw money was not the same as what I estimated, because I thought we'd get around 500. We did get around 300 instead. So it's slightly lower. But as you can see, why did I say... I said weekly wages, didn't I? Yeah, that just goes to show I've been playing way too much Warband, I guess. But yeah, the point is, daily wages are much worse in almost every single respect. And I don't need to tell you that. You already know. Anyway, I'm just going to sell all these harnesses here as well. And look at the leather. Oh, the leather sells for 831. Are you serious? Wow. Okay, that's actually insanity. I never would have expected that. That's crazy good. All right, so yeah, we gained a huge amount more cash just purely because of that leather that was present there. So that's really, really nice. We can even escort another merchant caravan here as well if we want to. But you know what I'm going to do for now? I'm going to end this episode off here. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.